Today's video title might sound controversial, but trust me, it's intentional. It's meant to grab your attention, but I want to talk about something much deeper. And this is not just about poverty or wealth. It is all about responsibility. It is all about planned parenthood. It is all about responsible parenting and why bringing children into this world is such an important decision that should come with proper preparation mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially. So let's dive right into today's video. This is a topic that's weighs so heavy on my heart, and just like I say in my previous videos, this is a topic that I am willing to die on this hill. I will keep speaking about this until we as a society learn to do better. This is a topic that I feel more people should be speaking on, and it's something that is just happening every day, and people are not really paying attention to it, or people are not really seeing the gravity of what we as a society are doing collectively. Now, before we start, the first thing I would say, I have said this over and over. If you watch any of my video, I have said this over and over, that before we even get to the aspect of planned parenthood, responsible parenting, we have to first start with ourselves. I just don't know why and how we as a generation keep repeating the same mistakes over and over. And these mistakes are not just a mistake you say, oh, it's just my past, or I did it when I didn't know better, because it comes at such huge costs. It costs so many people's lives. These are human beings that we're bringing into this world, and just dumping them with so much trauma, so much pain, so much confusion, with just all kinds of negative things, and just leading people to different paths, because of that confusion, people not knowing where to turn to or how to go about life. This needs to stop. This needs to stop, because I feel we need to talk about kids like human beings. I feel like the word kids or children doesn't do enough justice. If we're going to speak on topics like this, I feel we need to refer to kids and children as human beings. So maybe, perhaps that would be a game changer to people. Maybe then we can take issues like this serious, because I don't know why you as a person, be you a female or a male, you don't want to get to know life for yourself. You don't want to get to know yourself. You don't want to grow in any way, in any aspect of your life. But you see it fit to bring a child into this world. It will just never make sense to me, and it will never sit right to me. The result of all these things I'm talking about is what we see and we all experience in our world today. For example, the shootings in America. That's also, I feel like there's an attack on children, and we as a society are not really sensitive to that aspect. We're all just keeping quiet, and I feel a lot of us have the mentality that it's not my child, it doesn't affect me, but we forget that we function as a whole. The society is what makes you and I. If you decide not to have children, don't worry, you've not escaped. Trust me on that, you've not escaped. It will meet you one way or the other. So it's not about it doesn't affect you, so you have nothing to say. No, it affects us one way or the other, whether you like it or not. So long you're a functioning human being, one way or the other, we all rub off on each other. So please, this is a topic that should really be spoken more about, because we just keep doing things the wrong way, and we keep repeating circles, repeating pain. Like, the world is already filled with so much pain, so much trauma. Why do we keep bringing people that we claim to love, people we claim to love more than life itself, people we claim to love more than ourselves, but we bring them and we just leave them with so much, we just pour them, we fill them with so much pain, so much trauma, so much confusion, and you just find a lot of people on planet Earth, they don't know what next to do, they don't know how to go about life, they don't even understand life from any angle whatsoever. And we should always remember that This is not their fault. If you as an adult, you don't know better, you cannot bring a child into this world, because if you don't know better, you cannot teach anyone better. If you don't have something, you can't give it. I don't know if I need to use a microphone, if I need to use a speaker, but guys, we need to speak on these issues. We really, really need to speak on these issues. Don't listen to your friend make careless statements and don't say anything, because we are just costing more lives, more lives. Currently, there is no human being that is void of pain or trauma. Even a baby that was just given birth to at this moment. From the very first day, injections, vaccines, all these are new pain to the child or trauma in one way or the other. So there is no human being on planet Earth that is void of pain or trauma. So if you as a person has gone through, and we all have a story to tell, there is no human being, like I said, that is void of that. So you know what you've gone through, you know all the pains, all the trauma, you know how life is, how life was, what your reality is. So why on earth do you think is a good idea for you to bring another person when you haven't been able to figure out life for yourself, and you're not even actively wanting to go figure out life for yourself? So please, I just want to encourage every one of you to please, it's very important to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, that is where your number one mistake starts. If you don't know yourself, trust me, you will not be able to know the right partner for yourself, because if you don't know any better, how do you know what is better? How do you know what is good? You just go with whatever you feel or you think is good or is right. And we don't do parenting or marriage like that. It is a decision that needs to be intentional and should come with a lot of preparations. Currently these days, I would say a lot of people, both the guys and the girls, the guys have all the plans to build the houses, to do everything that needs to be done, but there is no plan whatsoever how to train the kids. The females, you hear them speak about, oh, I want my wedding dress to be like this. They already know the designer that will design their wedding dress, how the event venue will look like, but there is no plan in place whatsoever as to how to train your children. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that, guys. We as adults tend to make so many selfish decisions. I can just stand up today and say, I want to have 3 children, so it's okay for me to have 3 children, without even checking if I'm mentally sound, if I'm emotionally sound, if I'm physically sound, or if I'm financially sound to bring another human being to this life, guys. I don't need to tell you what pain is. I don't need to tell you what trauma is. So why would you want to dump that on your child, or why would you want to add or create new ones for people you claim to love? Guys, it just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyways, let's get into the first segment. For the first segment, what I'll be saying is it is more than just money. But first, let me clarify the title. When I ask the question, poor people don't deserve kids, this is not about financial poverty whatsoever. It is about making sure you have the resources, you have the mindset, and you have the stability to raise a child in a stable and healthy environment. Like I said, guys, it just doesn't end at the resources. Mindset. Our lives are a reflection of our mindset. Please don't pass down the wrong mindset to your child because you refuse to go out there to know life better for yourself, or you refuse to know yourself, or even want to grow. Growth is very important. There is no end to growth. We all have to keep striving for growth till the day we die. Please do not have that dormancy in knowledge and feel you still are capable to bring a child. Don't feel just because you're financially stable, this is the appropriate time to bring a child. It is way more than money, guys. It is more than money. It is not about, why do you think rich people have kids but their kids turn out below expectations? It's more than just money. If it's about money, then the whole world will just keep striving for money, because once you have money, all your problems are fixed. But don't let anyone deceive you. It doesn't work that way, please. It is not just about money. Just because you're financially stable doesn't mean you're ready for you to have a child, please. If you're financially stable, good, you've gotten just one part, just one little aspect of it. So please, it is way more than money. Just because you have money doesn't mean it is time or you're ready to have kids. The second segment I'll be speaking about is the impact of unhealed traumas. This is my my main focus, because if you don't, you going to know yourself, you going to find yourself comes with you recognizing your trauma and healing it, so you don't pass it down to the people around you or to your children, most especially your kids. If you want to know if you want to know more, if you're actively wanting to know more to be able to do more, more will definitely come to you. You cannot remain ignorant if you're actively searching for knowledge. So please, the idea or the impact of unresolved trauma. I would say I started watching Empire, the series. I know, but I just started watching it recently for the first time. And this stuck out to me so much because in as much as Lucius, the character, is such, I don't even have the word for him, in as much as he's a different breed, you have to understand, or you have to come to the understanding that this is someone that is filled with so much hurt, so much pain, so much trauma, unresolved. People don't even know about that aspect of him, and unfortunately he keeps passing it down to his children. That is the foundation on which his family was built. And I use Lucius as an example, Lucius and Kukida, in as much as they made sense as a couple or a partner then, I feel like they were not supposed to have children at that point in their lives, at least, because that is the result of what happens when two people who don't get to know themselves come together, give birth, and have children. You see that so many unresolved trauma is passed down, and the parenting also comes from a place of trauma. And anything that comes from a place of trauma, of course, it is not going to be right, or it is not going to be proper. So guys, everything boils down to knowing yourself. If you don't know yourself, how do you know that this girl coming to you or this guy approaching you is the right person for you, is the right better half for your kids and for yourself? Guys, it is more than money, it is more than beauty, it is more than being a nice person, it is more than being a kind person. Someone could be so humble, so kind, so loving, and yet lack the materials that is required to train a child in the right way. So please, it is way more than being humble, being a nice person, being a genuine person. Mindset matters, guys. An ignorant person could still be nice. So please, it is really important that we learn to, in as much as relationship, marriages, they all have a huge tie to emotions. When we come to choosing a life partner and a parent for our child or our children, we need to be very intentional and really come out from our selfish point of view, because as a society we really do have a selfish point of view where people just want to do anything they want to do without considering who is affected or what are the implications of what they are doing. It is okay if you made a mistake, no one is above mistake, but please, I want to encourage you to please not grow up with the mindset of being a single parent. You being a single parent, you hear some people say, oh, I want to be a single parent, I could get maybe a donor or some, just anyhow, to just get my own child to be me and my child. It doesn't work that way, guys. Or I would say mostly I've heard it from the ladies personally. You're being selfish. That is a very selfish thought process, because you're depriving that child of a father figure or a mother figure. And for any child to grow up and have a healthy and stable environment, to be able to come out of that and be a responsible, a well-trained child and individual, that child will need parents who know what they are doing. Guys, please leave your emotions when it comes to choosing the right partner or choosing a parent for your child. Emotions will not get you anywhere. Money will not get you anywhere. There are so many reasons, so many wrong reasons today as to why both the guys and the ladies are getting married. And it's like, in years to come, when all these things fail, because it is a constant case that they will fail, love is not enough. It's been proven over and over. Love is not enough. Understanding is not enough. Patience is not enough. One day you'll run out of all these things if the foundation wasn't built properly. guys. And when that happens, that's when you start hearing things like, oh, absent father, absent mother. And this has always had such a huge impact on the lives of their children. If it didn't have any impact, we will not be having hearing things like daddy issues or mommy issues. If it is possible, or if that was the standard for a child to have a single parent, then we will not be having things like daddy issues or mommy issues. It's because that is the proper way for a child, and this is not a jab to any single parent. Like I said, if it is a mistake, it is really understandable, because no one on planet Earth is above mistake. But please, as a young person, do not strive or grow up to have the mindset of being a single parent. That is a selfish thought process. Please consider your child, consider what your child needs to be considered proper training. Like I said, it is an intentional decision, knowing. And before you're intentional about something, you need to be sure that you're financially, you're emotionally, you're physically, and you're spiritually ready. Guys, there's so much that is required from parenting that I feel a lot of people don't even bother to know or care to know, and everyone just sees it as meet a man or meet a woman, get married, give birth, and you live happily ever after. Guys, if you're fortunate enough to experience or hear certain stories of certain families that was built on ignorance, and ignorance, not knowing any better, it is just so sad for something that could have been avoided, something that could have been avoided. Guys, like, I don't know how else to talk to you guys, for you guys to understand me. Please, if you're listening to me, if you're a young person listening to me, please aspire to do the right thing. Let's stop bringing more human beings to this planet and fill them with trauma and pain. You see that Lucius, if Lucius had decided to stay as a single man, life would have been way easy for him. Life would have made more sense. Or if he decides to go work or heal on his trauma, life would have made more sense. Because there was this particular scene where he went to the church in support of Andre when he was getting baptized, and whilst Andre was getting baptized, he was getting flashbacks on how his mom was drowning him at some point, and he walked out. And if you really try to understand, you can't really blame him, because he's coming from a place of pain, a place of hurt, a place of trauma. But all these are unresolved. That is why it can have such an effect like that even affects the parenting, and it's the children that suffer it at the end of the day. And these are the people that we are meant to protect. These are the people that we are meant to show better. These are the people that we are meant to guide, direct with all our might. Because I believe if you've gone through a certain pain, you would not let anyone go through that pain, not to talk of your own child. So please, guys, I don't know how else to say it, and I'm not going to get tired anytime soon. I would be on this hill. We're going to keep talking about this until we all learn to do the right thing and stop bringing kids to this world to just come and live a life of struggle filled with so much pain and hardship. Guys, we cannot continue this way. We cannot. I refuse for us to continue this way. One step at a time, but we will get there. The next segment I'll be speaking on is Planned Parenthood is more than just birth control. Most times when we hear planned parenting or Planned Parenthood, we always go to birth control. Guys, having a Planned Parenthood is you and your partner coming together. There are certain conversations that should be had before marriage and even children, and then after marriage there are still certain conversations, because like I say, with time we all evolve individually. So with evolution comes new patterns, new way of thinking, new thought process. So after getting married, before children come, it is wise to also revisit such conversation and topics again. As a couple, one partner should not be missing out on as little as what your child's birthday is, or what your child allergic to. Like, little informations like this, you find out that some parents are not aware, and you just look at it like, how can you claim to love someone? Guys, love is such a strong emotion, so I don't know how you can claim to love someone and not have a plan for their lives, not have a plan for what school they're going to go to, not have a plan for how they view the world, not have a plan to how they approach. Like, guys, it is such a bizarre train of thoughts. Before you think of your wedding dress, before you think of building that house, before you think of doing anything, guys, first check your mindset, because every part of us is eventually passed down to those children. The world is already difficult, the work is already so much. Please, life is already leading everyone by one. Why do you have to add more work to the people we are bringing? Guys, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The next segment I'll be talking about is the importance of relationship, which is marriage. And I think I've touched on that a little bit. Two-parent household, guys, please don't deprive your child of the other partner, be it a father or a mother. Don't deny them of that figure because of, even if the mistake has happened, because of irreconcilable differences, because of how the relationship ended, because of how, whatever the reason or case may be, if the child is here, the child is here, you have to come to the understanding that everything you do at that point in time has to be for the good of that child, has to be in that child's interest, before your interest even. Before your interest, every decision you make, everything you do has to be in the interest of that child first. And a lot of people do not realize what parenting is or what parenting takes. You have to be sound mentally, you have to be sound physically, you have to be sound emotionally, you have to be sound spiritually, you have to be sound financially. These are just 5 that we're talking about. Don't talk of the rest, guys. It takes a lot to train a child, you know. Even a rich person, one parent household is difficult. You hear single parents or single mother, single fathers, they tell you it is very difficult. Already as a 2-parent household, it is difficult enough, not to talk of as a single parent. So please, there are some people that life happened, the mistake happened, but please, now that you know better, do not aspire to be a single parent. In all your doings, make sure that you're doing right by your kid. Do not bring anyone. It is not your right. You don't have that right whatsoever to bring anyone in this world just because you want to bring someone without even having the right resources or the proper preparation to train that child. That is a human being like you, guys. I feel we need to speak about this issue. I don't know how else to talk about this issue, but we need to speak on this. We need to speak on this because these are things that could easily be corrected. You see a full family of 7, a family of 5, a family of 6, and there's so much disunity, so much confusion. You know, everyone does not know anything. You know, everyone is just doing life anyhow, just because 2 people or 1 person decided not to go and know better, or decided to not know themselves. Guys, it is preventable, very easy. The key is, as an individual, go and work on yourself, go and know yourself. If you know yourself, you'll know what is not right for you. And if you're trying to know yourself, in the process of wanting to know yourself, you will go after the knowledge that will help you to train a child in a proper way, that will help you open your eyes to see what is really required of you, so that you can be more intentional. You know, when you're trying to bring a child into this world, you know what it entails. You know, not when a child comes, you see suddenly one party is missing in the picture because that is not what they signed up for. If you are just done things the right way, if you are trying to know what this position requires of you, then you will not be in that situation. Do not get married or do not do things because of societal expectations, because one thing I've come to understand or learn in life is, you see that thing you're running from because of societal expectation, if you're not careful, decades later, you will find yourself in that same spot that you were trying to run from. So please, it is really important that we do things the right way. Go and know yourself, go and work on yourself. Don't just because you're an adult, you're not doing well financially, or you know one or two, you feel it is okay to bring a child. No, please go and learn the world. What is this world? Go and understand how our world operates so you can be able to lead your child, so that we are not just sending our children into the world with no tools, no information, no knowledge, nothing, just to send them into the mouth of the wolves to go figure out life for themselves. That is why some of us are having it so hard right now, because already we are missing in so many aspects. And when you miss out on those aspects, it is your responsibility to be able to go find those aspects that you missed before bringing. So that, guys, that is why it is just go and work on yourself. I don't know how else to say this. Please go and learn more. Refuse ignorance. Stop being in ignorance, because the more you're saying ignorance, you're betting kids into ignorance. And you should understand that, especially for kids, when they start from a young age, there's a way you corrupt their mindset with either your positive or negative thought process. It doesn't matter whichever, and they soak into all these ideas, all these ways of life, all this thought process, all these things, they soak it up and it becomes a part of them. And when they grow up to be adults, change doesn't happen overnight. Change doesn't happen at an instant. It requires work, it requires time, it requires patience, all these things. How can you know all these things and just wake up one morning and decide it is time to get married and bring in children? Guys, I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to say it, but in as much as I lack the words, I will continually find words to keep speaking on this topic, because a lot of things have gone wrong and a lot of things are still going wrong right under our noses. Besides, you hear your friends say certain statements, make certain things, think in certain ways, and we don't correct them. We don't even take it upon ourselves to even show them better. And then you hear these people saying, oh, it's time for me to get married, it's time for me to get kids, have kids, because this is what the society expects of me, not because this is what I want. Or I've been able to check with myself, and yes, I have come to a place where I have the full responsibility and understanding of what I'm about to do, and I'm still choosing to do it. Guys, it takes nothing to do things the right way. Go and work on yourself. How can you as a human, as a girl, as a guy, just be in this world and not be bothered to understand how the world works, how they do things? Work on your mindset. This is our mind that we always speak about. It is what makes our life. Guys, our mind is what makes it. Your life is a reflection of your mindset. If you have a wrong mindset, and most times when you have a wrong mindset, you don't even realize you have a wrong mindset. So guys, please, these are human beings like us. We cannot claim to love these people and then bring them and just, throw them to this world where this world is filled with so much uncertainty, so much confusion, so much garbage, so much, guys, so much. We just need to come back to, I feel like, before you do anything, try to step out of the situation. As I'm speaking to you, there are so many weddings lined up tomorrow. So many. And inside all, you can count how many that have a structure, a proper plan as to how they want to bring up their kids, or must have even have the conversation on how to bring their kids, their religious beliefs. And what we don't understand is it cuts so deep that before you agree to marry someone or have kids with someone, you need to know who that person is. For you to be able to know and understand someone else, you must first be able to know yourself and understand yourself. If you've not been able to know yourself and understand yourself, trust me, you can't know and understand anyone. It starts with yourself. So if you've been able to clock that part, then you will be able to know and understand who you're dealing with, the family they come from, that person's mindset, their family's mindset, how they do things. Guys, all these things play such a huge role, because that is the environment where you're bringing the child. There are certain things that, like I said, we repeat circles. Repeating circles is because Most times we don't even bother to check what family you're marrying into, to even understand this person you're marrying, their religious beliefs, their political beliefs, how they see life, how they think, how they process things. Guys, there's so much we need to learn, so much. Go out there, look at who you're dating, look at who you're aspiring to marry. What background are they from? What's their mindset like? What is their family history? They guys, there's a lot that we need to know and learn before we rush into decisions like this, because I can assure you at least 75% of our problems in this world is as a result of wrong marriages and wrong parenting. Guys, these days you hear 11-year-old children, 10 years old kids going to school and doing mass shootings. Where is that stemming from? We need to look deeper. And now this is not to blame any parent, because it is very possible for you as a parent to do everything in your power and for your child to still pick a different choice entirely or a different path. It is understandable, but that in itself, it is rare. So I don't understand. I feel like there's an attack on kids and everyone is just quiet. We're just going about life so casually without realizing that this is much deeper, much more deeper than we even think and we see. Please have conversations, important conversations. What religion are your children going to follow? How do they approach religion? How do they approach life from a business standpoint? How do they approach life from a love standpoint? How to be kind, how to be generous, all these things. You're already living the life. You know how difficult and confusing it is. Why would you bring someone without you knowing better or standing your ground? And I'm not speaking financially. You can be financially stable, but it doesn't guarantee, or it doesn't mean you're ready to have a child. Please, we need to all collectively, as individuals, as society, go out there, go and understand the world. How does the world work? What is your mindset? Work on your mindset. Please, let's stop bringing other human beings to come and suffer for nothing in this world. It is such a wicked and evil thing to do, to bring a child to this world and just deposit so much pain, so much trauma, so much confusion. Because at the end of the day, in as much as these are your children, you still have your own life. You still have your own life and just as the circle of life goes, it comes a point where that child becomes an adult for themselves. And when I've not been a parent, but from what I hear, most times parents are scared to let their children into the world. Why? Because they know and understand how scary the world is. So it is your responsibility to give them the proper understanding, the proper tools, the proper knowledge to be able to enter the world, face the world boldly, because they know better. They can maneuver their way because they've been able to learn so much to an extent. So please, guys, in order to not keep repeating myself, because you guys will see me a few weeks from now, we'll be back to this topic. So I will leave it at this. But guys, you don't understand how marrying and bringing a child is such an important decision that stays with us for life. That is another crazy part that I don't understand why people are still haven't been able to get the drift of it all. This is something that sticks with you for life. Why don't you do it in the right way? We all say, oh, I want, you hear certain instances where you say, I'm healing my inner child. It's coming from a place of trauma. You're healing something. What are you healing? You're healing trauma. So, there's so much that we have that we don't even realize we have. So if you don't go and work on yourself, life will make such a mess of you. And most times, our children would be on the far receiving end, which is even worse. Please, guys, I want to encourage you that we can break the circle. We can break the circle. All it takes, the most important thing is going to know who you are. Go figure out who are you. Go and understand how this world works, guys. There are so many principles, so many keys at which this our world operates on different aspects and on different levels. It is your responsibility to go figure out what those principles are, what those keys are, and how to use it to your advantage. There is nothing that doesn't have a principle, guys. There is nothing that doesn't have a principle. Training a child, there's a principle to that. Getting married or finding the right partner, there's a principle to that. Making money, there's a principle to that. Living right, living bad, there's a principle to everything. And no one is going to come and show you the principles. It is your responsibility. So please, go work on yourself. Go figure out yourself. Don't bring more lives into your confusion, into your uncertainty. Please, just go know better so you can teach better. Enough is enough. We need to stop this circle of pain and trauma. Everyone complains of it, yet we still do the opposite. We still invest so much pain and trauma back into this world. So it doesn't make any sense. We complain about pain and trauma. It's a universal language, yet we instill so much more, even more, into the society and the people we say we love. So guys, please, we can break this circle and we can do better. We can do parenting the right way. We can do planned parenting. Planned parenthood, please. It is important. If you want kids, there are things that is required of you. There are things that are required of you. There are principles you need to work in. So please, if that is what you want, go according to the principle. Go and learn what is required of you to have certain things or to do certain things. Before you do that, please do not do it in ignorance, because it will cost you. It will cost more than just your life, or cost more than just you. It will bleed down to sometimes generations. So please, we can do better. And I just thought this is just something that just weighs so heavy on my mind, and it's something that I would continually speak on until more people join me on this journey, and we as a society start treating people that we say we love. We need to start working in that love we speak so highly of. You hear people say, I love my kid more than life itself. I love my kid more than myself. If you do, then there's a principle, there's a way at which you express that love, you show that love. So please, it is important. Go and figure out life for yourself. Go and figure out who you are, so you can choose the right father for your kids, so you can choose the right mother for your kids, so you can choose the right partner for yourself. So guys, if this video resonates with you, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a video. And if you have any opinion you would love to share, or anything, any insight you would love to share, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. And I just want to encourage anyone listening to me that if you have friends around you, you have loved ones, colleagues, just anyone that would listen to you, please do not see people do things in ignorance and just, it's not my business, it will not affect me at the end of the day. You are lying to yourself. With the way you train your kids so well, you do everything you need to do. When you send that kid to school, they are going to meet other people in school. When you go to the supermarket, when you go to the church, when you go to the bank, you are meeting other people, so it affects you one way or the other. We all interact with ourselves. So please, if you're saying you're only taking care of yourself and not being your brother's keeper in a way, it will come back to bite you, because those people where you're sending your kids, other people are sending their kids to, so please do not see people doing things and just let them live life anyhow, because we have to be considerate of the kids. If we as a society are considerate of those children, there are certain ways you see people act, or when you see two people coming together to get married and you can tell that the foundation is faulty, it is a wise thing to please do right by those unborn kids, to correct those mistakes before it gets dragged into decades and generations. We can correct the mistake before it is done. And please, when people are speaking to you, younger generations, please try to listen in all humility. And that is why it is still important to know yourself, so you'll be able to fish out what people are saying, who is saying the right thing, who is giving you the proper information. Like I say, and I will always say, before you listen to anything I say, before you agree to anything I say, before you do anything I say, make sure you understand why you're doing it. don't do anything or don't follow any path just because someone said it or you feel someone who should know better say it. Have the right understanding, know why you're doing that thing before you do it. So guys, please, just we can all break the circle and we can do better, and we can save the next generations from so much pain and trauma. It is not totally avoidable, but it can be avoided to a large extent. So I just want to encourage you listening to me to please do right by your kid, do right by yourself. Do not let life make a mess of you, because if you refuse to know yourself, if you refuse to go for knowledge, if you stay in your ignorance, life will make a mess of you, and not everyone will be kind to your ignorance. So thank you guys for joining me once more on today's video, and I hope the title wasn't too controversial for you. And yeah, don't forget to like this video if you haven't, give it a thumbs up, share to keep the conversation going, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week. But before we go guys, I forgot, let's get into our quote for this week. What's our quote for this week? Our first quote today would be, you can escape reality, but you can't escape the consequences of escaping reality. You can run from the truth, or you can run from that right thing forever, but you cannot run from the consequences. If you don't do things the right way, it will come back and bite you and make life even 10 times worse than you could ever think or dream of. So please, if you do things the right way, it also saves you the stress of, giving birth to children that bring more pain to you, or giving birth to children where you don't have peace because they haven't been able to make something tangible out of life because they didn't know any better. So please, you can save yourself and the kids a life of this unnecessary struggle, pain and trauma. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Bye.